to your slow, deep Hatha practice. This practice will be, hence the name of the slow and deep, slower and deeper, but not necessarily an easy Hatha practice, but with lots of time to hold the positions in a way where we are feeling and truly integrating into our true identity. So I encourage you, if you feel there are parts that come up that are uncomfortable for you, that don't necessarily feel warm and fuzzy, to find the warm and fuzzy moments that are potentially there, but might require a little bit further investigation to be found. We'll be using bolsters and blocks and potentially a dowel, but I'm not sure at the moment yet. So we'll start with the supported upper back bend, placing our base of our shoulder blades over the bolster, and then taking our back of our heads on our chip foam block, and our knees will open wide on our foam blocks, or a modified supported fish with butterfly legs. You can place your arms in line with your shoulders to help access the openness of the chest, and allow the upper respiratory system to receive more energy, more prana in that direction. Welcoming now a deep inhale through the nose into the entire body. And sighing out the mouth. In yogic subtle body awareness, there is a concept that is referred to as the Kleshas, or the 5 poisons of our human form. And one of those is an over-identity to our ego. Our ego is a healthy thing to have in order to have a sense of purpose and, well, identity. It's not something that we need to look at critically in a negative way. But when it does become to the point where we are so willful and stubborn and closed-minded with our forthright opinions or beliefs that maybe are not necessarily effective in the long run, we have the risk of getting trapped in over-identification with who and what we think we are. So allow this back bend to be a symbolism for the internal and the external realm of who you are. To reveal the deeper elements that perhaps we don't expose as willingly as we normally might. Continue breathing here for a few more moments. Last minute here. One more full breath. And sigh. Place your hands over your heart center, feeling the warmth from your hands. We'll take the sound of Om once here to open up the practice. Take your hands on the outside of your knees and your legs, bring them to touch. Walk your feet in and let your knees come in together and your feet move wide to counter that external rotation with an internal rotation. We'll be here for about a minute or so the legs have a chance to neutralize. Taking a couple more breaths like that. And to come out of the posture, roll over to your left side of your waist and press up to your left hip and to your seat. From here, take your foam block to the front edges of the mat, your bolster off to the right, and your chip foam block up onto the left. From here, roll to your hands and your knees, and then settle into child's pose. Now, child's pose, you can have your knees wide or your knees together as you place your forehead down towards the floor. And if your forehead has a hard time touching the ground like mine does, this is when you can take a block underneath your forehead, keeping the integrity of the neck in line with the rest of the spine. And then let your palms face up down by your sides, by your feet, as you continue to settle and to breathe into your body. Breathe all across your back body, countering that deep back bend that we just were in for the opening of our practice. Take one more breath here. Sighing it out. Take your hands forwards and take your block back to the front of the mat. From there, go ahead and start to find a little bit of cat and cow. Inhale with the toes tucked and the palms active. Reach your chest forward and your hips back. Exhale, rounding the spine, clawing them out with your fingertips, lifting up through the wrist creases, round the spine of the cat. Inhale, reach your hips back and your sternum forward into your cow. Exhale to round. Inhale, extend. And then round. One more time, extend. And round. And then very gently going from side to side, taking your torso one way and your hips opposite, looking over either shoulder. Not trying to strive for perfection or for performance ever in your yoga practice. That's not what it's ever about. It's never about how much you can do physically with your body, how much you can accomplish in how much short period of time. That's what fitness is for. But for yoga, finding the process as much as you can. Slowing it down. Now from there, rotate your hands so your fingers face towards your knees. Let your wrists face forward and walk your knees a little bit back. From there, send your hips back and lift your sternum forward into your cow position with the wrist rotated as you stretch out through your forearms and your shoulders. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. And exhale. Starting to release one hand and then the other hand. From there, take the tops of the hands down so the palms look up towards you. Press down into your wrists for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let those wrists shake out. And then from there, start to find your toe squat, waking up all the parts of the body here. You can take your chip foam block if you have one and place it between your bum and heels, or a pillow is also there for you as well. From here, lean your way back behind you. And we'll hold toe squat for quite a bit here, longer than you might be used to. So if you ever need to come down onto the tops of your feet, by all means, please do that. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen up the crown of your heads. Softening your face, softening your jaw. Now, if you'd like to add in a neck stretch and you don't feel any compromise, you can bring your left ear to your left shoulder. down towards your throat, switching sides. Slacken the jaw, letting go of anything in the way of being present in this moment. And then lower your chin down towards your throat and lean your head back. Good. From there, reach the arms up overhead. Good. And then take your elbows out to a cactus shape, bringing your shoulders back together. Firm your belly as you lift up to the crown of your head. And from there, start the torso twist towards your right. And back to center. To the left. And center. To your right. Center. Once more to your left. And center. Release the arms behind your back, interlacing your hands, and lift your chest up. Roll the shoulders together. And release your chest and chin back to neutral. Release your chip foam block off to your left. Come onto your palms actively and start to lift your feet off the ground and let them stay still so your blood can flow back through your toes. All that stimulation into our plantar fascia can be quite deep. So deceptively slow, but also very deep. Now begin to roll the ankles in either direction. And then begin to tap the tops of your feet out on the mat. We'll find your ankle stretch as you come back above the heels. Tent the fingertips either side of your shins and thighs, and roll yourself back onto the tops of your feet as you lift those shins off the mat. Inhaling here. And out. Lean back a little bit more without compromising your joints. Inhaling again. And exhaling. Good. Come on back to your shins. Place your palms forward. And then shake your right leg back as you slide your right toes behind you, stretching out to your right quad and thigh. And then take your left toes back, push them back behind you, stretching it out. So really nice, solid, slow and deep, gradual warm-up here. Good. From there, take a few more rounds of cat and cow, going in any direction that you wish. Little figure eights, little loops or barrel rolls, getting into all directions of your spine and torso. There, settling into a wide-kneed child's pose now that we've opened up a little bit more. And as you find your wide-kneed child's pose, let your forehead settle to the mat. Let go of your ego, your need to know everything, the need to be right or for others to not be right. Let go of the need to control or for others to control you. Surrender. Walk your hands off of your mat to the left. Place your right hand on your left hand, and you can lace the fingers and find a bit of a basket weave, making a little bit of a deeper pull through the left and through the right hand. Breathe into your right side. Come back to center and over towards the right as you find the same thing to the left. And come back to center as you inhale and find your hands and your knees. Good. From there, find your chip foam block and take your left knee on top of your chip foam block. Step your right foot forward into your low lunge with your blocks beneath your hands. As you find your blocks beneath your hands, you can scoot your right foot forward a little bit and start to find a bit more depth. And focusing on your skeletal variation. So if your body needs more length or width or less of either, then provide yourself that permission to move and to not be stuck in one aesthetic plane that might not work for you, right? So really start to get out of the ego of what it needs to look like, as long as it feels safe and within your comfort. And then go a little bit past that comfort without getting into a place that is out of your range of motion. So it's a very tricky, fine balance for sure. Soften your face and your jaw, your complexion, let it be nice and relaxed. Lift your chest a little bit more forward as your shoulders soften down your backs. One more breath like that. From here, lift your left knee off of your block and step your left foot a bit more forward. Sit more into your right thigh and walk your blocks forward if needed. Start to sit into a midway lunge. So not high lunge, the arms are still low. Pull your right hip back a little bit to sit more to your right thigh and push away through your left toes even more to engage that left quad. And now hug your thighs together as you keep those legs strong. Take your hands on top of your right thigh and you can stay there. Otherwise, lift your chest up and roll your shoulders more back in space as you let your arms decide where they would like to go. So the arms might stay on the hips, hands on the hips. The hands can come to heart center with the elbows tucked in towards your sides of your body, or the elbows might come a little bit wider. Keep pushing off of your back toes and hug the inner thighs as you engage your glutes. Reach your arms out wide. You can find your cactus shaker with the elbows in line with your shoulders. Or you can turn your thumbs out and pinkies in to open up across the shoulders a bit more like we did on our backs before in that starting position. And start to extend your spine into a deeper back bend in your lunge, lifting up and out in all directions. Hug your front ribs and your low ribs in. Your entire rib cage is drawing back and towards your spine. And breathe more into your back bite. Continue lifting up more. And then take your hands behind your head as you bring your elbows in and up as you continue lifting out to your waist even more for another 5, 4. Keep hugging those legs, hugging those glutes for 3. Belly firm, pelvic floor engaged for 2. And 1. Release the arms out wide and down to your blocks and keep your left knee lifted. Or lower your left knee down on your block. From there, reach your right arm forward and up to the ceiling as you twist open towards the right side for a twist. Revolve your torso so your right rib cage rolls back and your left rib cage rolls forward. Allow the shoulders to come together as you press down through your bottom arm and reach out to the top arm. And then exhale, release your right hand down to your block. Lower your left knee down to the block. And then walk your right foot in between your blocks as you take your hands back. Shift your hips back in space as you lift your right toes off the ground as you spread the toes and push the right heel forward into half splits on the right side. Inhale. Deeper exhale. Imagine like you're pushing your right big toe on a gas pedal, so you're feeling that deep strengthening through the inner arch of your right foot. And continue lifting out through your crown of your head and sending your hips back in space to find length in your right hamstrings. Inhale. And exhale. Good, and then from there, slide your right knee more over towards the ankle, place your palms and blocks on either side, and place your palms down on the mat. Lift your left knee off your block and step your right foot back to downward facing dog. In your first downward facing dog in the practice. We'll hold downward facing dog for about a minute or so. So always know you can come down to your knees or child's pose at any point. Spread the fingers wide. Activate through your inner edge of your wrist and outer edge of your wrist, thumb and index mounds. Really feel the arches of your hands lifting. Send your hips back and up a bit higher as your heels come more heavy to the earth. And push your feet and your hands away from another at the same time. For another 15 seconds or so, we're here. Breathe deep. Bow that ego towards your mat. Let it all go. Lower to your hands and your knees. Shift your block, that chip foam block, to the right knee. And step your left foot forward and find your lunge on the left side. Starting with low lunge. Bring your right knee a little bit further back. And then inhale here. Exhale, sitting into that left thigh and pushing back through that right foot. One more breath here. Now from here, walk your hands up onto your left thigh. Lifting up to your chest, pushing that left thigh a bit more forward, but reaching your hips back and your sternum and crown of your head up. And then if you want to come a bit higher, use your hands on your left thigh for support as you lift your right knee off the ground, coming into a midway lunge. You can stay in your midway lunge if you like, right here, or lean your shoulders back more over your hips and bring your elbows in to start, just to get your balance. And then turn the thumbs out, pinkies in, and reach your arms up and out as you grow through your shoulder blades out to your fingertips. Keep pushing off of your right toes as you sit more into your left thigh. Hug the thighs together as you push your feet apart and lift out in all directions from your fingers out to your toes, from the tailbone out to the crown of your heads. Check in with that belly, keep the firming of your ribs back and contract that pelvic floor in and up, to lengthen out all the way. And then you can take your hands behind your heads, reach your elbows up, and find an even deeper expression if you like, but make sure you're leaning forward and up with your sternum instead of back, because you don't want to crunch into the ribs, you don't want to crunch into the spinal sensors or the vertebra. Hug those ribs in as you continue lifting up, stretch out to that right side. Maybe reach the arms all the way up. Lift up, lift up, lift up. One more breath. Exhaling. Take the right hand down and the opposite for the right knee, or keep the right knee lifted as the left arm reaches up for your twist. Exhale, release your left hand down, placing your right knee on your block. Walk your left foot in the middle and scooch it forward a bit as you bring your right knee further back as well. Slide back to the left heel and lift the left toes off the ground and spread the toes wide. Push back through your right toes and extend out in all directions. From tail to crown, firming those bellies in again if they got a little bit loose. And continue hugging in and expanding out in both directions. Take one more breath here. And then slowly shift the left knee over the ankle. Take your blocks off to the side. Different transition this time. Lift your right knee off the block and step your right foot forward to your left foot. You can shake that chip bone block off to the side. And then take yourself into a standing forward fold, Uttanasana. From there, take your right hand outside of your left ankle and take your left hand on your left hip. Bend into your right knee and turn your sternum to the left and reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. Roll your shoulders back. Coming into a revolved forward fold, Parivrtta Uttanasana. And then take that left arm forward, back, and through, and then back, forward, and through. Take your left hand on your left hip, twist a little bit more as you breathe in. Inhale, release the posture, fold forward. Then take your left hand to your outer right leg, shin, calf, ankle, and take your right hand on your right hip. Inhale. Bend your left knee, straighten your right leg as you open and turn to the right. Breathing into that right quadrant some more, low back, glute. Reach the right arm up. Often to take that right arm back, forward and up and through, and then forward, back, up, and then keep it up for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, release. Exhale, fold. Good. From there, take your peace fingers around your big toes and your thumbs beneath your peace fingers. As the elbows come a little bit wider, send your hips behind you and your sternum forward. Breathe in. Fold forward as you breathe out. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sit your hips back into Utkatasana chair position, engaging your glutes and lifting your sternum a bit higher. Send your hips back and your sit bones lower. Sit down a little bit lower, sitting into that fire. Notice how the ego might come up, your over-identification to what you think you should be doing or how it should be being done. Keep firming through your belly, sit down a little bit deeper. One more breath. Press down through your legs, hug into your inner thighs as you lift the arms up, overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Find a bit of a back bend, extending your spine. Exhale, round your spine, stay standing, standing cat position. Inhale, interlace your hands behind your backs. Your arms come back behind you, let your elbows roll in and back, and then find a bit more of a standing back bend. Bend your knees, send your hips forward and up, sit your hips back and your chest forward. And release back to neutral. Roll your shoulders back. And roll your shoulders forwards. Nice. From there, reach your arms up overhead. Take your left hand to your right wrist, reach up to the left with your torso and reach your hips to the right. Now from here, you can start to also lift off of your right toes and start to find a little bit more of a balance. Release your right foot. Keep the posture, but shift your weight onto your right foot and lift your left leg off to the side. And release. Good. From there, reach the arms back up. Take your right hand to your left wrist, push the palm up, lift up and over to the right with your torso, to the left with your hips. If you want to play, shift your weight to your left foot, lift your right toes off the ground to the right, find a bit of a side kick. And then switch sides. Come back to center, ground both feet, and let the arms come down by your sides with the palms face forward. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. And out. Shift your right foot into the middle of the mat. Take 2/3 of the step back with your left foot roughly, and we'll set up forward to position of more of a warrior one position. So turn your right toes to face forward, your left toes to turn slightly in. You might step your left foot out a little bit wider depending on your hips width apart. And then stack and sit that right knee and ankle forward, finding your appropriate distance. Take your right hip back a bit, your left hip forward. Push away through your left foot to really wake up that left inner thigh, and then reach the arms any amount forward and up towards the ceiling. It does not have to be all the way. And you can bring your arms back in space as you turn your chest more towards the front of the mat. Again, you can turn your thumbs out and pinkies in as you keep your ribs hugged back, but sit more to the depth of your right thigh as you lift out in all directions from your left leg out to your fingertips. From there, take your right hand to your left wrist, reach up and over towards your right, very gently here, because it is quite a bit of a mixture of body position and movement. Push your left palm up with your right hand, lift up and over towards your right for a nice twist or side bend story. Lateral flexion to the right. Inhale back to neutral. Reach the arms up. Now as you exhale, slowly, slowly, slowly take your hands out to your shoulder height through a T shape. Direct your chest towards the wide edge of your mat. Extend your right knee a little bit more. Send your right arm forward, keeping a long left side of your body as you find your way into Trikonasana, triangle position. Now, I like using a block for my right hand. So you can take that, or if you want to use the hand on the floor, as long as your shoulders stay engaged and your arms stay in alignment, then be your own guest. But make sure that you're not using the ego to push and to power through something that your body is not actually wanting. Good. From there, take your left arm forward and overhead for extended triangle position, Utthita Trikonasana. Keep hugging the arms and the legs against each other, wrapping your right hip bone forward and your left hip bone back, and lift out more through your waist. Push down through your legs as you come up. Turn your chest forward into that warrior one position. And from there, heel toe your left foot in a little bit to a shorter stance until you can easily step it forward, back into mountain pose, Tadasana. Let your palms face forward. Inhale. And exhale. Shift your weight into your left foot, bend into the knee a bit, step the right foot back into that base of warrior one position and adjust your length and width of your feet and legs and your stance accordingly. Take your left hip back a little bit and your right hip forward a touch without having the need to square your hips forward. Squaring the hips is more of an aesthetic cue, so you don't need to worry about that if it's not in your body. Good. From there, push away through your right foot, sit down into your left thigh. Really wake up that right inner thigh, adductor to the right big toe mound, and keep pushing away through the pinky toe mound of the right foot as well. Good. Claw the mat with your toes and your arches of your feet. Reach the arms up overhead for warrior one. Hiiro 8. Push and pull the feet away from each other at the same time to hug all the muscles of the legs to the bone. Keeping that, reach your arms up, and you might go ahead and take your right hand onto your left hand or wrist. Push your left palm up. Keep your chest facing forward and experiment with a bit of a side bend over towards the right. Come back to center, take your left hand on your right wrist, pushing your right palm up and over towards your left. Keep hugging those inner thighs together, hug the midline as you lift up and over to the left a bit more. Come on back to center. And from there, bend into your left knee, open your hips out to the wide edge of your mat. Readjust the stance of your right foot a little bit so it's maybe a bit wider and also a bit more in line with the left foot. Take your arms out in line with your shoulders here. And from there, reach your left arm forward. Keep reaching back through the right arm and finding Trikonasana, triangle position. From there, again, I like to use a block, just even for my fingertips, just to press something to press into. Bending into the left knee for a sec to find that right hip rolling back and down, and the left hip rolling forward. Now push away through your right foot to extend out through your pinky toe into the outer line of the right leg, and then you can take your right arm forward over your right ear and breathing into your right hip and thigh. Nice deep breath into your right hip and thigh. Keep reaching that right hip back. Breathe into your right hip and thigh. Good. Inhale, come on back up towards your standing position. Take your hands on your hips and step your right foot forward. Mountain pose. Feel all that energy in the body. Good, and then from there, sit back into Utkatasana, chair position. Reach your hips back and send your arms forward, keeping your shoulders back and your elbows slightly bent. Keep your hips reaching back and your sternum reaching forward. Keep your sides of your waist long. Exhale, forward fold. Finding gorilla pose, stepping your feet over either palm of the hand. Lean your weight forward into your feet. Bend your knees as you send your hips back and up. Release your hands from your feet and find halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Interlace your hands behind your backs, reach your arms behind you and up to the ceiling. Continue reaching your arms behind you, inhaling. Exhale, fold. Place your hands down in front of your feet. And then from there, step your right foot back, step your left foot back, downward facing dog. Feeling into the feet and back into the hands. Hug your arms and legs together as you reach out through all directions. Every finger and toe pushing away from you. Keep breathing into those sides of your waist. Inhale, come forward into plank position, Phalakasana. Push off of your toes, hug your arms together, lengthen out through your waist, keeping all that nice length we found in from triangle position. For 5, 4, keep breathing. 3, 2, 4, 1, Side plank, roll to the outer edge of your right foot, step your left foot in front of your right knee so you have some support. Lift up through your hips and take your left arm forward over your ear. Take your left hand behind your head, reach your head back into your hand, lift up and find a bit more of a side opening as you push out through your right foot. Keep rolling your shoulders back, lift up and open. Exhale, release and switch sides, roll to the outer edge of your left foot, take your right foot in front of your left knee, reach your right arm up and across the ear. Take your right hand behind your head, reach your elbow back. Lift up and over. Release. And from there, lower down to your knees, lower down to your chest and your chin, Ashtangasana. Feel the heart beating into the mat. Pull your wrist back, glide your chest and torso forward. Press the tops of your feet down, upward facing dog. Pull your wrist back, push down to the toes, lift up all directions. Breathe in. And out. Roll those thighs in. Keep pulling back through your toes and your tailbone. One more breath. Exhale, roll through the soles of the feet. Lift up, downward dog. Start to walk your feet to your hands and fold over your legs. Sit back into chair pose for one breath. And inhale, lift. Find your back bend. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, reach your arms up. Find your back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step your right foot back. Keep your right knee lifted. Find your lunge. Reach the arms up. Find a standing back bend once again. Reach your arms forward and up, maybe even behind the head, and trust your balance. Lift up, go for it. Exhale, release. Step your left foot back, high plank position with your feet touching. Come forward and lower knees, chest, and chin. Come forward, inhale into cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the right leg back. Bend your right knee, stack your hips open for three-legged dog with stacked hips. Continue stretching out through that right hip and thigh. Pushing away through your right palm, fingertips. Exhale, bring your knee into your chest and step the right foot forward. Stay high on your left knee. Inhale, reach the arms up for lunge. Reach the arms forward and up. Lift up nice and deeply here. You can interlace the hands if you want to play with that on the side. Good, and continue thinking about the elbows rolling in, your rib cage pulling back, hugging the inner thighs together, pelvic floor engaged, lift up and over, up and over. And then exhale.
Release. Step your left foot forward and fold. Sit back into chair pose, Utkatasana. And come all the way up. Touch your palms together, find your standing back bend. Exhale, take your hands to heart center. Bow your chin to meet your heartbeat. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms down, step both of your feet back to downward facing dog. Reach your right leg back. And take your right knee towards your right outer edge of your wrist for pigeon position. Take the top of your left foot down on the ground. You can stay high on your palms or come up to your fingertips here. Check around for that left top of the foot that it's down and it's perpendicular in line with the back edge of the mat and also supporting through your low back and spine. Notice if you start to collapse more through one hip or thigh. I like to personally put a block beneath my right hip to keep my hips stabilized. And then from there, hugging the inner thighs together and lifting up more through the spine. And then taking the chest and the forearms forward and finding the way into sleeping pigeon position. You can stack the hands and rest the forehead on top of the palms. And finding stillness when you have a chance. Inhale, come up to your forearms, your palms. Move the block, shift your weight onto your right hip and take that left leg out in front of you. And then sit up on your chip foam block. As you sit up on your chip foam block, take the right foot into the left thigh, send your left leg out in front of you, and we'll start to find your way into Janu Shirshasana and revolve Janu Shirshasana. So forehead to bent knee position. I like having a block beneath the right knee as well. If you have it, support your right knee and your sit bones. And you can bend that left knee any amount. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, bowing your chest over your left shin and thigh, making sure your low back's okay. You can always stack your fists and rest your forehead on top of your fists if you're staying forward. Breathe into your belly. If you're taking the revolve variation, take your left arm, palm facing up on your shin, inside of the left leg, or take your peace fingers around the big toe. Okay, from there, take your right hand on your right thigh and roll your right hip and sit bone down to the ground. From there, push down to both sit bones, roll your shoulders back, and open your chest towards the right for your variation of Janu Shirshasana. Really pushing down to that right sit bone, getting that length, and then you can extend the right arm back, up, and take the hand behind the head. Reach your right elbow forward, and roll your shoulder back and breathe into your right side and low back. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, sweep it out and around, back towards your left leg, folding over your left leg. A couple more breaths here. Carefully walk your hands back. Lift yourself up. Bend your left knee. Good, and then from there, cross over your hands and your knees. And take yourself into your tucked downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your left leg back. Bend your left knee, stack open your hips, finding that second side of that nice leg extension here, hip opening. Keep pushing out through your hands. Exhale, bring your left knee in towards your chest and to your left wrist for pigeon position. Pigeon pose, Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, one-legged king pigeon crack. Take the top of the right foot down and then find your block underneath your left hip for stability. Stay active on your fingertips for the first few breaths, hugging those inner thighs together, pressing down to the tops of your right foot. And find that little extension out through your waist. One more breath here. And then coming down to your forearms, and then your palms, elbows wide, softening into sleeping pigeon. Take the top of your right foot back, mindful that the left foot is placed in an angle that is comfortable for your hips and your knees. I like my left foot more into my right thigh. Inhaling and exhaling. One more breath here. Walk yourself up to your forearms, your palms. Inhale, lift up. And then lean over towards your left hip, de-weighting the left knee, and sending the right leg out on an angle to the top right. Sit up on that chip foam block one more time. We're getting there. Line up. Take that block underneath your left knee. Slow, deep practice. Tense your fingertips on either side of your right leg and knee thigh. Lift up. Exhale, bow that chest and over the right shin and knee. Slide your right hip back and left hip forward. Find a little bit more of a tip to the chest, to the thigh. Good, and then if you're taking that variation to open up, then you take your peace fingers around the big toe, hand outside the foot. The arm can be inside of the leg or on top of the shin. Finding your preference, take a breath in. Pull your right shoulder back, stabilize your upper back, and then take your left hand in your left hip and thigh. Roll that left hip and thigh back as you push out and lift in all directions, leaning into that left sit bone more. You take your left arm up and overhead. Take the left hand behind the head if you want to open up a bit deeper into the upper back and upper side of the waist. Nice, turn yourself forward. Come on up. Stay on your chip foam block now. Take that bolster with you. Place it beneath the knees so the knees can be super chill. And from there, take your foam block, stack them up so you can make more of a restorative forward fold here. Then a lot of side body opening, back body opening, getting to a nice deep, gentle forward bend. Gently roll yourself up. Send your legs up straight in front of you. And then take the blocks and stack them up again as you find a second forward bend with your legs extended. Always take your peace fingers around your big toes if you like. Walk your heels forward. And gently resist the peace fingers with the big toes. Again, surrendering the identification to your ego. Letting go of what we think we are, who we think we are, why we think the way we are, we are. One more breath here. And carefully take your blocks off to the side, roll yourself up. Take a very gentle, supported back bend with your tips of your fingers behind you just to counteract that flexion. And then from there, slide off of your chip foam block, come onto your spine. Good. From there, you can keep your left leg over the bolster, take your right knee towards your chest, up towards your right armpit. Take your left hand on your right outside of the knee, take your hips up to the right a little bit, and then you can bend your left knee and shin onto the bolster as you roll over to your left and twist, taking the right knee across to the left. And breathe. Inhale back to your center, neutralizing your hips and hugging the knees into the chest. Extend your right leg forward, take your left knee towards your chest, inhaling, and exhaling. From there, you can bend your right shin and knee on the bolster for support. Take your right hand on your left knee and thigh, left elbow to bend. Exhale, lift your hips up to the left and twist over towards the right. Keeping your shoulders down and your ribs tucked back. Inhale back to center, hugging your knees in. And then slide the bolster underneath your sacrum for a four legs up into the air, Viparita Karani. The legs come up, but the arms come up. This will be our last position before we take a well-needed Shavasana. Let go of everything that's come up, and that's also let go already. Continue sinking, releasing. Begin to roll your ankles and wrists around. Let go of any last little bits of tension in the body. And hug your knees in towards your chest. Placing one foot down, and the other foot down. Lift your hips. Turn the bolster on its edge. Send your legs into Shavasana. And taking your eye pillow, if you have an eye pillow, over the eyes. Breathing in. And out. Settle into your rest. lengthen. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Hug your knees into your chest very gently. And place your feet down, removing your eye cover if you have one. Rolling over to your left side in fetal position. Using the least amount of force to come up to your seat. Sitting on a chip foam block if it's available to you, and tipping your pelvis forward and down. Sitting in a brief meditation here. Resting your face, relaxing your jaw. As human beings, we all have many vices or poisons that we collectively build in our existence over time. And the over-identification to our ego, our sense of self, can get in the way of truly being receptive and willing to always have a beginner's mind, a willingness and a receptivity, to always be a student, no matter if you are already considered a teacher. Remember to let go of everything all the time, within reason. We can't be perfect all the time, nor should we try to be. But with the things that we are able to, that don't compromise our values, our ethics, our morals, our integrity, less identity to our ego is not such a bad thing when we think of it in a different way. Bring your hands to heart center. Bring your thumbs up to your third eye, your knowledge and wisdom, ajna. Inhale for Om. Remember, it's okay to surrender. Namaste.